I am a man with a simple dream, and that dream is a really cool shed. So, after the writer's strike last summer, I lost my VFX job, and I decided I'm just going to throw myself into this. We're just going to build a shed for 3 solid months. Let's see how it goes.
Well, it's something new. It looks alright. It looks level. I cannot believe it. Alright, that's one of 5 that we can possibly make up this timber. Let's see how we can secure it down and make a shed.
After a long night spent playing around with swords and ladders, me and Ben had the very basics of a frame up, but we're going to need a hell of a lot more if this is going to be structurally stable. So we moved in position another L of wood, drilled through the floor with an SDS drill, and then screwed them directly into the floor with rule plugs. It's pretty stable as it goes. And me and Ben were just kind of happy to have broken ground on another enormous project. Unfortunately, Ben eventually had to leave, which meant it would just be by my Todd. So I've got to figure out how to get another one of these L's up just by myself. So what if I just use a power drill, make it reasonably structurally stable, and then secure it down at the bottom to make sure it can't slip away from me.
So, this is how it's meant to go. I've tied it off down the bottom here, extend up here, rope across there, and then this very, very, very janky system to hold it up while there. In my head, I pull that rope, I then tie it off to that pole. Let's see if it works. Hey!
And eventually we get to the point where I can call this long enough. It's 7 meters long now, I can just about fit a Jumbo XL right band in there. So we move on to insulating. I'm putting up exactly measured boards up into the ceiling, just so I can slot the insulation in and not worry too much. Some of them don't fit perfectly, so we need a little bit of a nudge, but it all works out in the end. I just keep stacking up these boards until eventually I have the majority of a roof there and can start attaching some lights in, because it's dark. And then I try to start insulating again.
Well, that was a little bit of a bodge job, but it did kind of work. But I did make a little bit of a mess. Yeah, that's a little bit rough. I made a lot of mistakes that I had to make right now before my dad sees it. Because he'd have killed me if he saw this.
Okay, these are 1.2 meter by 1.2 meter boards. It doesn't matter they're made of foam, it matters that they're large and just difficult to move around. We're cutting some corners here quite literally to make sure it fits in, but luckily any small gaps, my trusty spray can will cover them all up with no problems.
Everything will go your way.
And this is just one of the boards. I think by the end of there was about, oh god, 50 of these boards. All of them had to get transported there on my tiny little hatchback, and all of them had to go in precisely to make an airtight seal around the walls. Ben helps me out with some plasterboard.
Fucking masterwork on it, man. Look at that. Ben's artwork for the world.
And then all the rest of the plasterboard sheets go over the top of it, making sure there's a tiny skirting board down the bottom. Plasterboard just doesn't like getting wet. We now come to painting. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this wall, so I got out my brush and my roller set and decided I was going to start painting Van Gogh's Starry Night on there. I'll admit, this probably took a little bit longer than necessary. Like, I think I spent all of maybe half an hour painting this wall, but I think you'll figure out that the final effect is majestic. You can really see all the colours, the lights, the play of tones coming through on the wall. When I was painting this wall, I was really going for the effect of something that wasn't hideous or garish, something that really put you at ease within the workshop. Anyway, so I finished painting my green screen wall.
Right, this is the cleanest the barn's looked in a while, so now's a good time for an update. I've been hard at work, sweeping, I'm about to start mopping, but the general gist of it is we are now looking at a pretty nice shed at this point. I've put blood, sweat, tears, and yet more blood into this barn. It has been a hell of a ride so far, especially trying to get these doors insulated, but they do fully move. It has not made that noise before. Ow. Okay. Some bits still might be necessary on that. Still working on, handles to get in the door. That could be an interesting this bit, so it's not just, quite so easy to break in. All things we're working on. But that's a deal. Overall, it's all going quite well so far.
I mop the floor for any particulates, I put a sealant level down, I then paint the floor hideous green as well to complete my green theme setup.
And here we have the finished article, barn. I spent a good amount of time on this, I'm very happy. These are all just foam boards put into the doors to bulk them out with white coating on them. This one couldn't be bothered to paint, so just put some Proplex, you can get it from Wix for dead cheap. But it's a pretty fucking rad barn. Oh my god, lovely. So what we're looking at here is 7 meters down of space with roughly about 5 meters across, with a tiny little alcove at the side, full workbenches, and a big old workbench just down the end, just so you can do a bit more work and have a vice. The vice is very useful. One of the good parts of the barn is it's for some reason hooked up with LED lights everywhere, all colour changing. You can choose whichever colour you want, and it does this. So I can have a little raven here whenever I want to. This is roughly about 3 months worth of solid work. I've had a couple of sessions with my dad, a couple of sessions with Ben, and one fun trip with the electrician just to sign everything off. But generally, what else can you say? It's a barn. I freaking love it.